Good morning, Charlotte. Good morning, Melissa. How are you? Thank you so much for coming and being on the podcast.
Oh, my pleasure, Jim. My pleasure. Good morning to you.
Chip, so good to be here. So good to be here.
It's no mystery to anybody who's watched any of these interviews or listened to them that I'm very fond of you two. As we were discussing before we got started on the recording, we have met each other only in the last couple of years, and we have a connection that we all believe is that we are in a soul group together and that this was meant to be. And we're just so happy that we're able to be together and to present this information to you. And I got my gang together. My tribe is here. I was looking over the podcasts that we've done before, because this is not by far our first interview together. I found out that we really, since May of 2024, we have done 9 interviews together. I'm going to read what they were: Healing with Energy from Angels, Master Alignment, Soul Awakening, Next Grand Adventure, 2 episodes on astrology, and 3 on law of attraction. And it's just so exciting. And I recommend to anyone to listen to any one or all of those, because they're all really good episodes. Today, we're going to be talking about astrology, and not exactly astrology, but we'll let Melissa and Charlotte talk about how it differs a little bit. But before we get going, I wanted to look at the credentials of the two of you, because if anyone's going to listen to this and listen to what you guys are talking about, we should know, why should we listen to what you have to say? And Charlotte, I would ask you to get started. You're not a newcomer to astrology.
No, not at all. I was thinking this morning, I started way back in actually 1970. I began and studied with various astrology teachers and have kept on going, adding to that the master alignment, the different healing modalities, and just like all along learning more and checking with other, what I call master astrologers, to get insight and information, and then mixing it my own way and sending it out there. So I just figured that in my life, if I can understand something, I will help you understand it from my perspective, rather than a whole bunch of astrological jargon, because who cares? All that kind of stuff. I've listened to different astrologers, and when they start getting into the different aspects, I just think, oh, help me, Lord, help me, tell me what it means thing.
And so today is not going to be one of those jargon-filled esoteric discussions. It's going to be, let's understand this.
It's something new that Melissa will take over now, because we have this thing called astrology, which is different. AWE stands for Awakened Wayfinders Evolving. And then we just put astrology on the end of it. It's different.
Okay, let me say that again. Awakened
Wayfinders Evolving.
Great. And now, Melissa, you also have been involved with astrology for some time.
Growing up in a house with a professional astrologer mother, it was really like the second language. And I was already fascinated by it when I remember being as young as 6 years old. And every year I would look forward to those Aquarius outlook for the new year. I was always really into it. I think I came in with an interest in it. So being exposed to it for so long, and we've had some amazing professional astrologer teachers, and our beloved Buzz Myers was unlike any other teacher. He's a master. He passed away in 2000, but it's just been a ride. You have it always be in the background since I was really young. I love it. I love it.
We are going to get the benefit of both of your tremendous experience and just thorough knowledge and comfort with the topic. Does any of this work that you do with astrology, does it have anything to do with guides, or is it more, or anything, or not so much?
I feel like definitely it does, because our guides, we were teaching the all class, Awakened Wayfinders Evolving classes, and then all of a sudden the guide said, hey, by the way, the old astrological kind of paradigm is outdated it's really for the third dimensional consciousness.
World.
And we're moving into 5D. So they said, we want you to, if you say yes, we're going to introduce this new way of looking at astrology called astrology with you. And that was it. So definitely it came from the guides. So 100%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize that this really was something that you guys didn't come up with on your own necessarily.
It was really guided. Yeah.
It's really guided. And it simplifies so many things. And as we step into this next time ahead of us, it's like new things. And astrology, too, is going to need to change. And it has changed because there's all these asteroids and things and all these different names. And I just thought, I can't handle that. So I just let that simple. And that's what the guides really have helped us do. So this came in actually in 2024. We spent all of 24 with the classes of a shift. And then this year, 2025, we expanded on a lot of that. So it's so exciting for us because it's new for us too. It's wonderful.
Oh, that is so neat. You've both been involved for so long, and to have something new come into the phase, it's got to be really neat. Would you tell us about why is it new? What's coming up? What's happening?
One of the things that we'd like to bring today is like the newness. We're almost already into 2026. So 2026 on an astrological level has so many changes and shifts, just like this year did. Who knew what the heck was going to be going on? Nobody. So 2026 has even more astrological things happening, starting a whole new paradigm. It's not just a new anything. It's like big time stuff because of the way that the planets are aligning. It's not happened, for 9,000 years or something like that to have this kind of astrological stuff. And all the astrologers are all excited and we all have our little things about what we're thinking and nobody knows. Because if something new means that it's never happened before. So each day is new. You don't really know what's going to happen during your day. You get up and you have plans and then they change and you deal with it and you flow with it. So one of the things coming up with an actual date, February 20. All that means is that just like a new year, okay, we have January 1, you start new for the year. This is just saying new, but it's a cycle that's going to take 164 years to run itself out.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
you just figure that the newness is where you really set, I guess, the emotional quality to set a vision about what you really want with this aspect. We'll call it an aspect. It's two planets are coming together at 1 degree of Aries, the new start. That's where our calendar starts.
Let me interrupt you for a minute. Let's just pause. And I want to just kind of backtrack a little bit and to talk about that as we're coming out of 2025 and we're going into 2026. And I have heard talking to spiritual people that people keep saying, I'm so lucky to be alive in this time of great change that is happening. Is that the great change that people are talking about? Does that involve what's going to happen in 2026?
Yes, it's just like the beginning. It's like the new baby. You come into the world and now it'd be our job to set the foundation for what is to come. And it's moving more into fifth dimension, if you want to look at it that way. It's higher frequency energy. Because actually more and more people really are waking up, believe it or not. It's always don't listen to the news, you're good. You find all these wonderful people that are waking up and doing acts of compassion and kindness and bringing their light and their love into the world. They're caring. And so one of the things that I find is the foundation for all of this is basically understanding as a human being, we are actually divine beings, just like trees and the nature and everything else it's all divine. And when we talk, we say, oh, that was a divine evening because everything flowed and everything was wonderful. And then when you look at being human now, oh my gosh, we get to have a body that can smell, it can taste, it can feel, it can sing, it can hear, all of these things that we take for granted. And I think the time here is to really value and understand the magnificence of who we are. You have all these different things coming in and life is speeding along, and you have to really be grounded, to go out and smell the wonderful smell of like dampness and leaves and the trees. And it's just heavy. It's divine. It's divine. I think we're in a space where we're going to value who we are and then see everyone is who they are. So the guides are bringing in even more different information that is helping me to understand maybe a little bit more about this time. So we were talking with some friends the other day, and Melissa brought up something the guides were bringing in about a silhouette, which maybe Melissa can explain it more. Because something I read this morning is we're in a field of consciousness. You think that you're the consciousness and putting it out there, but actually you're bringing it in and expressing as this being. So the consciousness creates this. It was just heady to really think of these things in a different fashion, how powerful we truly are once we get over thinking that we're little nothing. It's amazing. And we're all saying that, just be who you are, just love you.
I think that's such a wonderful way to look to moving into the new year, 2026. May we all take time and take our effort to remember that we are living just now. We've got to make the most of it. We're going to pass on out of this human life, and we're not going to have these experiences then. And we should really look at everything that we've got now and all these things in our senses and just really make the most of them. And
it's just, I keep thinking that this Christmas, to just try not to get into all that hurry scurry and all of that, but just to just send your love and be peaceful and enjoy everything. When I'm doing that, I get up in the morning, I have a lot of energy and I do a lot of stuff, and I'm just like calm and everything's happening. And then later when I get tired and I get cranky and I think, oh, everything. So it's like learning to really recognize when I'm getting out of that frequency and just taking it easy. It's just like being calm and just sitting quietly and sending out love and joy and peace into the world, because it does count. It counts. It truly does. And I'm sure that it's helpful to other people.
yes. Now, Melissa, Charlotte mentioned something that you could probably help us understand a little bit.
It's interesting. The other day, the guides brought through something about it's the silhouette. And it's that in Lewis Carroll writing about Alice in Wonderland, it's like what it isn't. And I thought, why don't you just speak plainly, guys? Like, what does that mean? And it's so interesting because it's like, what if we think of ourselves as individuated form?
Right.
That's how we have gone through life up till this exciting shift. What if we see ourselves as consciousness? What if we're that thing outside of what we think is us? And we're connected to all of that. We are consciousness. And there was something that said something about, I read something where it was like, if you are a sandcastle, you see a sandcastle, and let's say the sandcastle is you, and you're doing all the right things, you're eating right, and you're exercising, and working out, and you're a sandcastle. But really, what is a sandcastle made out of? It's made out of sand. We are made of consciousness. So the guides keep saying you're missing out on all of this bounty and abundance by seeing yourself as like cutouts in consciousness. See yourself as consciousness, and the cutout it's not the thing. It reminds me of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, where he's always talking about going into the field of all potentials. And how does he get you there? He says, can you imagine the space between your nose and the wall? Can you imagine? It's all about the space around you. And so this is really going to be a big theme for this new exciting time. And one thing the guys keep saying, like wanting to keep it in layman's terms, because life is busy.
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
face it. And it's like people that don't give a fig about astrology are going to be like, oh, brother, I roll. But guys are like, look, you don't have to know a thing about astrology. You don't have to know a thing about anything. But we can tell you that, let's just say you were told that around between February and May of 26, if you're a betting person, chances are amazingly high that you're going to win the lottery or win the farm. You would want to go out and do something. Or if you're a fisherman, you're going to go fishing those days. Like they're saying, don't miss this opportunity when everything's just primed. And it's like, what's the biggest thing to do is don't keep doing what you've always done. They're saying if you do nothing, at least do something different. And it's like, you don't even have to do anything proactively, but don't do what you've been doing because you'll just recreate everything the same. And that's not what we want. And if you think about the last time, it was 9,000 years ago, before we have a history of what happened when this actual conjunction occurred before. But the last time we had a Neptune-Saturn conjunction of any kind was 1989. When in 4 days, the Berlin Wall fell after 28 years of being there. Like it happened so fast, something that nobody could believe. And so it's really exciting. And just the guys are like, just don't do what you've been doing. Do something else. And that'll help usher in this new tide, this new flow for you.
Now, when you say do something else, in what way are you talking about? Are you talking about involving relationships or hobbies, or what do you mean do something different?
I love that question. It's basically anything like in your normal routine. If you typically get up and you have your coffee and you do this, you take a shower, it's just do something else. Surprise yourself. Get out.
Because we all have routines, and many of us take great comfort in those routines.
Yeah.
So they're saying this is about neuroplasticity and creating different potentials, different possibilities. So
what is neuroplasticity? What's that all about?
From what we've heard from the guides, in layman's terms, it's really like your brain is constantly wanting to put you in a comfort zone and make these connections. And this relates to that. And this feels good. So we're going to keep doing it. And yet what I love about this whole thing is 11 million bits of information come at us every minute. And guess how many we let in? 40 bits. Because we're conditioned
How
to
much?
think
How much? Say that again.
40 out of 11 million. 40.
Oh my gosh!
So imagine there's this whole reality, but because our mind wants to, this is how it is. This is what life is. This is our comfort zone. This is who we are. It's like we're only taking in a fraction of what's available. So the guys are like, just do anything different. Use a different toothpaste. Go out and romp around. If you typically, one kind of cool thing is if you typically only watch this thing on television, just tune into something you would never watch. If you never watch the news, it doesn't have to be Bennett or something. It just do something different. Shake up like you're in a snow globe. Shake up what you think your identity is. And then it's like the brain can't latch on to that one path that's keeping you limited. It can say, wow, seems like there's change afoot. Let's go for it. Let's see what this is about.
And that's what I think neuroplasticity is, that we can create new pathways in our brain and have thoughts go different ways than they traditionally do. And we can learn new habits, we can learn new things, we can change how we conduct our lives. And that's a big message then coming up is do that, change something.
Yes. Yeah. Yesterday, Melissa and I were talking. I hurt my knee. And then I went on this trip and did a lot of walking on cobblestones and everything. By the time I got home, I could hardly walk and a lot of pain, and go to the doctor. And the standard is ibuprofen and heat and then ice and raise your leg. And then the next step is PT to keep it going, all that. And then I was telling Melissa that might well be my focus for next year to get this thing healed. And she said, let's do something different. What would an animal, get into your animal self, what would an animal do? They would rest. And so I spent a whole day resting, and I cannot tell you how much better. It's just like my body heard this. I can rest. I can stop. My life is so active. I do aerobic dancing. I do line dancing. I do yoga. I run here, I run there. And so it said, enough. So just like my horse, if it hurt its leg, you wouldn't keep riding it.
What seems to be common sense for some other being maybe hasn't felt that way to ourselves.
We're the go-go kind of thing. And
Yes.
it's rest.
So that would be a change. Right? If you're used to running around like crazy, take time to, yeah.
It's a big change for an active person to do no thing.
Why do you think the guides want us to make this change?
It's interesting because this big Saturn Neptune transit in February, there's this amazing French astrologer. His name is Andre Barbeau, and he's passed away, I think, in 2019. But back in 2012, he actually had predicted the pandemic. He said that the low point of our culture, of our world, would be 2021. And then at the same time, when in his writings and predictions, he said that the optimal, like the new dawn, he called it a splendid relaunch of civilization coming, starting with this transit in February of 26 for the next many years, say the next 5 years would be the absolute height. So he even predicted this amazing high point. So again, why would we, even if we didn't care a thing about astrology, why would we want to ignore this energy of, okay, all I'm supposed to do is just do something that I don't normally do. If I do nothing, or I can really sow my seeds of my dreams, my wishes. Saturn represents 3D, real, this is what it is. And Neptune represents 5D consciousness. And so they're coming together at the very point that the astrological zodiac begins, where time actually begins, which is, again, 9,000 years since it happened. And so it's really a whole new, it is a reset. And the guides say it's like the container that we came in with, wherever we are in our walk of life. We came in with a certain expression of our identity. And like they said, let's call that a line, that your identity up till now has been like a line. And you love that. You know yourself. This is how you are. Like when I tweak it a little bit, they said in February of 26, you're going to be pulled into being a square. Your line is going to be pulled in this square that has lots of expansion of lines. And you might go kicking and screaming and say, I have no interest in that. I am a line, white line. When you become part of the square, they say, you would wonder, how did you ever function as a line? Because this is everything. This is elevated consciousness. This is humanitarianism. This is what the stuff of what dreams are made of. This is what we've been desiring, not only personally, but transpersonally. Why wouldn't we want to just do something? They're just saying, please do something. Just the only thing we would say not to do is the same old.
I have a couple questions, if I could.
Please.
One is, what is 5D? And what's the difference between 3D and 5D?
That's a great question. So 3D, we think of the world as 3D. There's a table, there's my body, there's my skin. This is real. And 5D consciousness, they say, it's love. It's the energy that creates worlds. It's where you think a thought and it's made manifest. It's elevated. It's beautiful. It's a higher frequency, is a higher consciousness where you're looking at not just yourself and your individuality, but what's best for me and for the whole. And seeing yourself as I am consciousness. So if I hurt something outside of me, I'm hurt. There's no us, them. It's oneness. It's connection. You get to take your line into the square To me, it is the energy that creates worlds, and it's what we came in with the promise of perhaps humanity would wake up to this higher consciousness. And so we have this perfect opportunity for this relaunch in February, and it is darned exciting, Jim. It's really
Yeah.
exciting, you know?
So let me just paraphrase, I think, what you said, see if I understand it. That's that we're not going to lose what we have. That's going to continue. Everything's going to continue. But that the added dimension of more loving other people and more feeling part of a whole, everything is one, and that we're part of it.
Yeah.
That feeling of we're all in this together, and I'm going to give out love, and I'm going to care about people, and I'm going to give empathy, and other people are going to do that for me. And that's going to become much more prevalent. Was that accurate, that part?
Definitely. And if you think about it, as we think of ourselves as transmitters of consciousness, like this is me and this is how, but it's like we're really receivers of everything is energy, everything is consciousness. And so we can make that switch. The guides brought a beautiful summary of what this energy is. It's the beauty of this transit is Saturn gives Neptune's dreams, the dreams of us, a spine, a container. And Neptune gives Saturn's rules, compassion and imagination and meaning. And together they invite us to craft lives that are not just stable, but soulful. So we get to keep our stability and our individuation, and yet we realize that we are part of everything. And we also get to receive the bounty, the blessings, the abundance of all the good of the all of everything. And it's just so beautiful. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, yes and yes.
I keep, my mind keeps flashing on that figure of 9,000 years. This is
Actually, it's 11 million units that come at us, and we only take 40 bits.
okay.
Imagine.
But yeah, I can't imagine it. But the alignment of these two planets hasn't occurred like this in 9,000 years. Yeah. What was happening 9,000 years ago? 1,000 years ago, approximately, was the birth of Christ. And
I think 9,000 or 10,000 was supposedly the fall of Atlantis, and big time changes. But who knows? Because we don't really have a history of that. But astrologers go way back. We figure in different things. So it's like you can do with the stars and astronomy. They came up with that figure, 9,000 years for this particular one, because it's at that first degree of Aries, which is new. It's like the new time. And to me, that's the marker. It's the new year of the new time for this next piece of what humanity is going to be opening to, the consciousness expanding. So there's a lot of shifting, of course, and a lot of changes. But I think right now we're in the kind of the juice of everything moving, shifting. So that as we step into this new time, it doesn't mean the next day you're there and everything's honky-dory. It means that this is the beginning of this new time. And so our dreams and our vision, we have this planetary energy that's going to say, I will help you form it. And that's our job, is to lay the foundation for what is next. So it's just a beautiful system.
so if I want to expand my love and empathy and my feelings of joy as I go through life, and I just do like with law of attraction, right? I just need to step up my feelings in that regard, right? And now with this change, I'm going to have more capability to do that. Is that right?
Well, that's how I look at it already. I'm starting to be much, much more aware of what I think and how I put that energy out, and aware when instead of filling the dog's water bowl first in the morning, I'll put water in for coffee. It's a change. It's just a little thing. It's like change up anything just to prove to my body that we can exist with change. We can flow with it. Even the little things like that. It's your awareness of what you're doing. I think that's the answer to a lot of things, the awareness. And then you're aware when you're in a store and you kind of put your energy out there. I'm going to throw this love out there and see what happens. And it's just little things like that will help with this change, because looking at the next time, it's like thinking about what would you want to do with this wonderful energy? What did you always want to do? What are your dreams? And this planet Saturn is realistic. It says, I will help you do it. I'll give you a form for it. And the Neptune is boundaryless. It dissolves. It's thinking about Berlin Wall. It just dissolved. What the heck?
Yes, yes.
So it's interesting.
Oh my gosh, it is. And we have used up all of our time plus for this particular episode. So we're going to need to finish up and then go on and hopefully continue this discussion and do other discussions as in association with it. I just thank the two of you so much. And I just invite anyone who's been enjoying this to stay tuned, because we're going to keep talking about this in another episode. So thanks.
And
Yeah.
oh, it's a pleasure.
Right.
You.